3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? It's been a while. So I doodled this little character. I thought he'd be fun to sculpt, kind of like this. So I think he'd be really fun to sculpt. So I don't know. Let's have some fun. Okay, so first let me just change this to a matte cap here. Matte cap, that's fine. That's a little bit easier. So now I just want to import the image. So we'll go here, import photos. We'll just import this, and that's pretty good. I have a lot of shots of him in profile. I think that might actually be easier for me right now. And I'll just use the move tool. There we go. I kind of think of something like this. Let's call Dino Bud. I don't know. It'll be, I guess that's now his name, Dino Bud. And so for the area where the eyes are, that's obviously flatter. I should have just done like a straight profile. Maybe I should do that. First, I'm just going to start with a circle because it just is easy for me. So I think of his little nose, his little snout, and his head just comes back. So this is exactly what I'm thinking when I sculpt. Okay, so his nose has his little pieces on his nose like that. Maybe his mouth is here. And so there's like a ridge here. This is where the eye sockets would go. Maybe this is the cheek. So it would be like this. Maybe this is a little further up if it's the profile. Okay, so maybe something like this. Round eye. And then maybe the pupil is at the front. And then we'll go like this with a little bit of a eyelid. I'll use Disney sketch light to kind of color this in. And also he has ears too. So put the ears here. I want them kind of, so that's kind of what I'm thinking for this character. Okay. That's like an important part of my sculpting and my creating. Sometimes you have to create things. You have to let the magic come to you however it comes to you. Whether that's drawing it first, not drawing it first, drawing it from a reference. You have to let the magic come to you. And for me, sometimes that's drawing. I can doodle better drawing. So that's what I do. Okay, this is decent. I want to look at the top view. I want his head to be a little round. I want everything to be kind of round and kind of cute. Okay, this looks good. This angle looks good. The front looks a bit small, but we might be able to work with that. A lot of this is going to be contingent on the lips as well. I'm actually going to flatten this. I want to flatten this part. I'll use the default sphere too. Okay, because this is going to be the eye, like kind of where the socket is. So I think that's actually pretty good. I might want to actually take some more out. Let's make move really small and then just kind of make that shape. I don't know why sometimes I switch sides. Again, sometimes you just have to do whatever it is you do, you know? Okay, I think that looks pretty good. His face isn't really like this though. He doesn't really have much of a chin, but I think that'll be easier to figure out once I get the nose in there. So we can kind of work that out. Okay, so let's do the nose. Let's just do a sphere. Do I want to do a sphere or do I want to do a cylinder? I'll just do a sphere. I guess left feels easier for some reason. Let me just I'll stick with right. I also have to think about when I create the video for this. I kind of don't want to be flipping back and forth. So I kind of need to keep it. No, nobody cares. All right, so probably are some people that care. But I do think about making the videos because, you know, video is where it's at. Like people, the artwork isn't good enough anymore. I mean, I shouldn't say that. The artwork is great, but people really like videos, and I really like making the videos of my 3D sculpts. So I do have to think about, when I think about editing, I'm thinking about what will be easier, what will be easiest. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, now we can just use the gizmo and kind of figure out how we want it. I think a little bit bigger, maybe out a little bit further. I don't want it that long though. I think that might be good. I think that might be perfect. Okay, yeah, I think that looks great. Okay, so for the eyes, oh, is it too hot? No, I think it's fine. Yeah, because we're going to put the things where the eyes are. Maybe I should do that now. We don't have to do it now. So I'm going to use mask. And just mask out where the eyes are a bit. So if we're looking from the front, I guess we can just do them here. And it's actually the eye sockets is what this actually is. And I don't really want them that close together. Although this might be fine, excuse me. Now I have to find those in the edit those out. Let's unmask and just erase. I got a question today about mask. Someone was saying, why is my mask so crisp and clear? Well, I find that when you, firstly, this is 98.3K, so it's very high res. That's the first thing. The second thing, I notice when I go closer, sometimes it is sharper. But anyway, I think this should work. Let's go ahead and invert the mask. And also I find a lot of people have that issue too. I'm not sure how to fix it. A lot of people have a problem creating a mask on something, inverting it, and then using the gizmo to move what it is. I'm not sure what's up with that. Not sure. Okay, so these are going to be the eye sockets, so just pull it back a little bit and then shrink it. It doesn't have to be that deep, because sometimes you can run into issues if the eye sockets are very, very deep. I think that probably works. So I'll go ahead and clear it, and trying to think if I want to, I'll just smooth it a bit for now. And that way we can see what we got. So I'll smooth that out. And you know what, we can voxel remesh it. I'm using the shortcut down there. Same thing as here, voxel remesh. You'll see this number move as I move this one. So maybe I'll do like 140 for now and just hit remesh. And this is mainly just so I can smooth this out nicely. I had that little knot there. So sometimes I remesh, you know, a lot. Remesh as much as I need. I'm going to take flatten, and I'm going to flatten this as well. Okay. Nice. I'll go ahead and smooth that out as well. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Just smooth all this out. Keep everything nice and smooth. Great. Okay. I guess we can add some eyes since we're doing the head. So we'll just add a sphere. Let's just call this eye. We'll just call it eye whites. I don't know why I was struggling so much. What is this? What is that? Oh, that's the head. Oh, this is the eye. It's really big. So this is the head. Eye whites. This is the snoot or snout or nose, whatever you fancy. I guess I should save it since I don't trust autosave. Never trust autosave. Okay, so I didn't validate this, so we can mirror it. So I'll just make it nice and small. I'm gonna try the flatter eyes. Sometimes I leave the eyes not round, but when I look at a lot of the 3D characters I like, the eyes are so flat. They're very flat. Like, they'll be here, but they're not bulbous like that. They're just very flat, which makes it a little more difficult to kind of handle the... I'm gonna do pivot center. Is it in the center? Oh, I guess it is. When it's flat, it's a little more difficult to keep control of, but I think it has to be flat. I think that looks pretty good. Let's see if I move it out a little bit more. How big do we want these? His eyes are pretty big. They are pretty big. Let's see if I want to rotate them. Let's see how they look from this side. I guess they should just be straight, right? Okay, let's mirror it and just see how they look. There's something going on with the bottom part of the cheek. That's the only thing that I think kind of bothers me. Maybe I should tilt him that way too. Let me bring it out a little bit more. Put them a little further apart. Just gotta find a cute distance. Okay, I think that's actually pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. So for the brows, there's a few ways to do it. So we could use inflate, and we could kind of inflate here. I mean, that actually works pretty well, to be honest. We could flatten. I feel like I don't have as much control when I do it this way. I guess I should try to show you what I mean, but I'm not sure I want to do it. I mean, that actually looks decent. That looks pretty good. The other way that I was thinking was taking like a torus or even a sphere and just making that shape above. I think either way works. And what's cool about this, if I want to move them, I can just use move and I can sort of adjust them. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I can sort of adjust these. There's a little bit of, yeah, I think that looks pretty good actually. I don't think I need to go too crazy. Okay, so for the nostrils, so this is not that. Let's go to multi-res and subdivide this just to give it a little more resolution. Let's try clay. Let's see what clay looks like. Make it a little bit smaller, and I'll just do this kind of nostril shaped motion. And I think that works. Excuse me, I'm like trying not to clear my throat. It makes me sound like a butt monkey. But I think that's nostril shaped, right? We can dig more into that in a bit, I think. So this would be the mouth, but I don't want him to have like, I think just, I need to figure out his neck situation. I'm going to save this because I think it looks good. So now that we have this piece, let's figure out the body. and what shape we want the body to be. I think I'm just going to start with a sphere because the sphere is the cutest. And let's just try to keep it simple and just shape it out the way I did the head. You know, not really like complicate it too much. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to stretch it this way a little bit. We can go ahead and validate it. I'm going to use move. And it's kind of nice to just look at the profile and kind of get a feel. So obviously symmetry's on, so I know that whatever I'm doing here, it's going to match on the other side. Okay, so let's say the neck. Okay, the body, so we want the body maybe a little bit further back and maybe like here. And then for a tube, I want the tube to be, oh, I think there's a way to do that. Hold on. I think you can do grid. And then, wait, how do you do it? I want to do path. There it is. Magnet. I think it's already, yes. Let me undo that. Whoops. I forgot you can't undo it. You have to just hit path again. So now with the tube tool and this little magnetic thing, I think this only shows up if you hit grid. And also, this is another reason why I sculpt in orthographic, although I'm probably not going to mention it because everyone loves to sculpt in perspective. So if that works for you, that works for you. So anyway, switch to orthographic so you can use the magnet and use the grid. And you can take path. And we're just going to do a straight line like this. And we'll make that the tube. And this is, oh, wait a minute. It looks like it's, let's keep it straight. Let's turn snap off. Let's see if it sticks to the grid. Oh, it sticks to the grid when you turn snap off. The reason why I was moving off to the side, if you have snap on, is because it's avoiding the sphere. So that can be an issue. Oh, here we go. I'm always to the left again. Okay, so keep it simple. This is just going to be the neck. Maybe the neck is going to be like, okay, so it comes around the head like so. And then it melts into the body. So let's go ahead and use our radius. Let's just use 1 for now and make this kind of big, and then we'll use 2. Make this part bigger. I feel like that works better. Maybe the body is a little bit too forward. I don't really mind it that much though. Go back to tube. I don't think I mind it that much. If you just like stand in casually. So now let's look at it from the front view. Let's widen this up to as wide as I think the neck might be, because then we can just adjust it. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. I'm gonna hit radius again, and maybe this part needs to be wider. I think that's actually good. I think we might stretch out this part because this part is going to connect to his lower jaw. But I think that's fine for now. I might have to move it up a little bit. So we'll take the tube and the body. Let's just label this body. Body and tube. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I wanted to move it down, I think. Maybe here. Oh, his head is up pretty high too, so I might want to tilt his head a little bit. And also, I'm not sure what pose we're going to give him. I guess I should have drawn it to the left. I don't know why I'm like drawn to making it that way. It's kind of strange. So we'll use move, probably because I'm used to like going back and forth. And so we think of the head, and then we think of the body is going to be flatter for sure. And this part is going to trail so kind of like this, I'm thinking. It's going to kind of melt into that. And then this is going to melt off. This is going to be his little backside. Okay, this all looks pretty good. The neck, I think I might... Let's just make it a little denser. I think that's good. And I'm just going to validate it. That way I can just adjust it as I need with move. Make sure symmetry's on. And just adjust it. And I'll kind of just have to see what looks right. Yeah, I think that looks better. And I might use drag. Drag is great when you want to drag a smaller portion. Because actually, do I want to use drag or do I want to just drag the face? That's the tough part. We'll just use the, I really like how the face looks, so I don't want to mess it up at all. So I'm going to use the, neck instead of the face. Okay, and I might use a little bit of the face to kind of stretch this part out. You know what, maybe I should just add another sphere there, to be honest with you. So let's go back to move, and I'm just going to straighten this out a bit. Okay, this looks right. That feels right. Back feels a little weird. That feels better. I'm looking at the... Oh, and his body's way too long as well. I don't mind if he has a little hump. A little shape like that. I don't mind that at all. Let's go ahead and add a sphere. And this can be the tail. Losing my mind. I was going to call it a tail nub. I don't know where that tail came from. I just want to stretch it a little bit. Let's just validate it. We'll use move. And we're just going to make a tail. So I think the tail is going to be... Oh, I probably should just use a tube, right? Probably would have been easier to use a tube. I'm so used to... sometimes like I'm just so used to... Like I want to make things organically. And I just forget to use the tube tool. Sometimes I don't think about using the most efficient tool. But I think that works. That feels pretty good. I want to make a floor. So let's turn on the grid and do the whole floor thing. I'm going to just grab everything and just move it up. Oh, I'm looking at the right. Let's look at the front. I want to move it up. I want to add a... You know I like to do cylinders. So I'll add a cylinder. Just move it down. And this is just going to be the floor. I'll go ahead and make it a little round, put post subdivision to 2, and bring this down a little bit. Okay. So we'll validate and just call it floor. All right, let's turn the grid off and just go back to where we were. Okay. I still gotta do his little ears too. All right, so let's figure out his legs. I think I would definitely want to use tubes. I think it'll be easier with tubes, so we'll use path. And it looks like the way that I've been drawing them, they have a little bit of a curve in them. They're not that long. Everything is supposed to be lined up with the tail, I think. So we'll do something like that. We'll turn snap off. I also have to make sure I'm looking at the body from this angle because it looks funny now. I think it would be, I guess we can figure out this leg first. Let's make it bigger, number one. And maybe we'll add all the radii and add another one here and somehow make this a little bit pudgier on the bottom. I think that might be like what I like. I think I like that. Okay, so let's fix this body. We can always mirror that, but we don't have to yet. Let me take a little break and stretch my back.
My back! My neck and my back! Oh!
Usually the bodies are a little pudgier on the belly side, right? Oh, that's making it a bit weird. I gotta make move a little bit bigger. Maybe a little bit smaller. Oh, this is a better way to see what's going on. So let's make it wide where his hind legs would be. Let's make it smaller towards the front. I think that makes sense. So smaller towards the front, a little bit wider in the haunches. Is that what they're called? Haunches? I don't know. And then his little belly. I think that works. I'm happy with that. And I'm happy with this leg. Maybe I'll just add a little boop there to be able to bring this in. And now that we have this, let's just bring it down to the floor. So we'll take everything. Where's the floor? Let's put that on the bottom. I believe this is the leg. Okay, is everything else? This is the neck. Housekeeping, I like to call this housekeeping. These are the eye whites. Everything else I think is good. So let's take everything and just move it down to the floor. Sounds like a hip-hop song. I'm trying to think how tall I actually want him. I think that works. So therefore, I'm going to take the tail and just move it down. Maybe out a bit. And then I'll just adjust the body accordingly. I feel like it's still a bit too wide here, right? And then this part should be a little bit more, yeah, tailish. I guess that's fine. I don't have that much room for his little back legs. So I think this is good. I think this is a good spot. I'm going to do a line so I can just move this maybe up, kind of audition that for a moment. But yeah, I think that looks good. So let's just go ahead and mirror it. Get crazy with it. So since we have this, let's go back to the tube and let's go here and we mirrored it. Let's name this legs. Legs B. Let's take both of these, clone, and this one be leg A. And I can't help it but to switch their order. And I'm going to bring this out of the mirror just by long pressing for a second and then just dragging it out. That way we can just tap the gizmo there, and we can just move this back for his other leg. So now we can still use the tube since we didn't validate it. I think we want to give it a little bit more of a bend. Move it out a little bit more. I actually really like that. I think it looks cute. Do we want more of a, I'm trying to think of the shape of the body. Might want a little bit more of a, something like that. And then also, maybe we'll bring this in a little bit more towards the tail. I think that works. Also, the tail is a little bit thick here. I don't really like that either. And I actually think I want it a little bit thicker. Now that I'm looking at the artwork, I think that works. I think that's fine. Yeah, I guess his back legs would be covering it. I think that's actually pretty good. The only thing is, I think I want to bring it in. It just feels a little wide at the leg, oops, at the leg part. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. That feels okay. All right, I really like that. I think it looks good. All right, so the only thing I'm thinking now is if I want to make him. Oh, firstly, let me save it. Part of me wants to have a different. I don't think I just want him like static like this. I think I want him to have a little bit of personality. So, if I mirror this, okay, I'm trying to remember how I don't know why I did that. I didn't have to. We had a mirror already set. Okay, so this is my plan usually when I'm doing this. So this is the back leg. So I'm going to clone it. And I'm going to take both of them. I'm going to leave. All right, let's think this through. Let's hide this one. So let's pretend we have two back legs. We're going to pretend we only have one. So this leg, I'm going to make less static. So I'm going to move it back. And you know what? I can bring it out of the mirror. I don't even think we need the mirror, but okay, so we'll do something like that. We'll go back to the tube and maybe just adjust it a little bit so it looks a little bit different. Maybe just rotate it out a little bit more. Oh wait, does that look weird? I guess I can move it wherever I need it. Sometimes I forget that I can do whatever I want. And maybe maybe something where the toes are a little bit bent, like he's walking. Okay, so that's good. So let's bring back this one. So now the legs look like they're in different positions. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and validate it. I like it. Join children is fine. So I'm going to take this one and trim. And we'll just do a rectangle and we'll just trim this leg. So now, leg B, I can delete this. So now we have one leg that's still a tube, which we can validate, and then we have the other leg. So those are both of the legs. Done. So let's clone the top one. We'll take this out. We'll get rid of that mirror. We don't need it. So this is the original position. So if this leg is back, then maybe this leg is a little bit forward, so this leg will be a little bit back. Okay, so this is the mirror. So let's forget about the mirror for now. This one I think would be a little bit, maybe a little bit further back. I think I can still use the tube if I need. Okay, so that would be that one leg. So let's take this. Let's go ahead and we'll hide this leg, and now we just have to pretend that this is on the other side. I know it's weird, but that's what we have to do. So we'll just make it a little bit like this, I think. I don't think it needs too much of a difference, but I definitely want a little bit of a difference. Maybe this can be coming up a little bit off the ground, like so. Okay, we'll save. Okay, so I know that was a little confusing. So basically all we did is when you mirror a shape like for the leg, then it creates two of them. So all we did was create two mirrors of the same thing. And one of the mirrors is going back and the other mirror is going forward. So then once you validate both of those, and then you just get rid of the side that you don't need. So then you get both sides of the legs doing opposite things. Probably still confusing, but hopefully it makes a little more sense. So I think this will work. I'm just going to go ahead and validate this. Let's take this leg and let's see. Okay, so this one I have to get rid of because we wanted this one up. This one is not needed. So we'll just get rid of that leg. And there we go. So then he has a little bit of movement. Okay, leg. Let's take these and just join them. And let's voxel remesh them. Or actually, let's just subdivide them. So we'll go here, multi-res, and we'll just subdivide once. Well, let's give them a little bit of a smooth action here. And maybe we'll do the same with the back legs, just to make it simple. We'll take both of these and join them. And then we'll subdivide. Multi-res, subdivide. Okay. And then let's smooth them out a little bit. Just so they're nice and round. Just hit solo. Okay, nice. So I think it might be easier to... Oh, I don't know if I want his neck turned. I don't know if I want his neck turned. I feel like it might be better if his neck turned, because then he can be like this and kind of like looking back, or even just looking like a little bit. But I think it'd be better to finish the head first. Yeah, I think it'd be better to finish the head first before we move the direction of the head. I'm gonna add a sphere. Oh, did I add a cylinder? My brain is fried. I've done so much work over the last like few weeks working on this project that'll be out soon. Like literally my brain feels fried. But I mean that is what it is, you know, that's how it works. Spent so much time. Okay, let's go ahead and, oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay, it's a little big, so we'll just kind of flatten it out a little bit. We'll kind of match the shape. And actually, it might not even need to be out that far. Drag this up a little bit. Okay, and so this is going to be, if we use crease here, I think this is going to be where that part of the mouth that I did the little thingy. So this part is going to connect with the nose. Like so. So that'll connect with the nose and that'll smooth out real nice. Oops. Okay, you can also take drag. We can probably drag this up a little bit. Trying to drag it in the middle, but it's being a butt monkey. Okay, I think that might work. Okay, so now let's make sure that I know what this is. So this is the low jaw, which I'm going to connect to the snoot, which I'm going to connect to the head. So that way we can easily just grab them all. And let's say we want to, I need to finish the rest of it. I always want to jump the gun, but that's really not good. I think I want to stretch this out. Maybe pull it out a little bit. I just want it to look a little rounder. I think that looks nice and round. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Do I want them further apart? I think I like them a little further apart. Okay. And you know, we can actually clone these. So I'm going to take this and clone, and this is going to be P1 or P11. Sure. So obviously this is going to be the pupils. Oh, let me take it off of a line. That way, let me stretch them too and then shrink them. So this will be good. This is one reason why I tell people when you're doing pupils, like they have to be kind of closer together. And I want them to be round too, so we'll round them out. Maybe make them a little flatter. And you might have to adjust them to the surface if possible. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, they look kind of big though. That's the only problem with these sort of, when they're really flat, they're kind of difficult to... Oh, that looks pretty good. I like that. Let's see what they look like if they're smaller. Looks good. Just trying to make sure that they're like lined up with the surface decently. Make sure they're nice and flat. I love it. I'm happy. Nose might be a little wide. I'm not sure. So that means I have to, let me drag. We'll try move. Make sure this drags nice and like evenly. Let's try drag. Okay, I think that'll smooth out nicely. I want this to be a little more of an S curve, so I'm just going to try to S that out a little bit. Nice. Let it save. How do we want to do the ears? I think we're just going to do them... Oh, could I use a cone? That'd be so fresh if I could use a cone. I don't know though. We'll see. We'll see if I can make this work. But I feel like it's like this kind of shape. No? Am I wrong? Let's rotate it a little bit more. Okay, so what I'm seeing is, let's go ahead and validate it. We can always mirror it later. What I'm seeing is that we just need to, I think, bend it like that. I mean, it kind of looks good, but okay. So what we need to do? Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have. That's okay. I should have lessened the resolution before. But we can do that with, it's 4,000. So let's decimate it. Miscellaneous, decimate, decimate. So we'll make it nice and small. And hopefully it doesn't get too ruined. It is looking kind of ruined. Let me go back. I think I jumped the gun. Let's do it this way. So we'll go back. We'll do post. Can I move this? Post subdivision to 2. And then we'll bring this down. And hopefully that'll round out those edges to something like that. That looks good. But we need to do post subdivision again. We'll do it twice just to make sure that it has the right resolution. Okay, I think I like that. I'll make this bigger. That's better to work with. So I'll validate that instead. And the flat part, which is the part that I'll hollow out, is sort of pointing down. And I'm just going to use the middle part to kind of move this here. And then maybe drag. Oh, maybe move. Move to put a bend in it. Put a nice bend in it. And this part is going into the body. Okay, they look a little smaller. And I think the length actually looks good. I think the rest of it we can just do with move. We can just kind of make it how we want it. I'm going to push in a little bit in the middle just to give us a little bit more of that ear look. Maybe drag. A little bit of a drag. Okay, they're about the size of the eye, so I think this is still a little bit too big. And it'd be down a little bit further, maybe rotate it a little bit more. And maybe take drag and just drag it a little bit more. Yeah, I think I like that. Now, if we want, we could flatten this. Kind of like it, but it gives it a weird... That's better, I think. Something is bugging me about this. So let's fix it. Okay, and I need to rotate it a little bit, but I can't rotate it the right way. I want to rotate it this way. So let's do pivot. Let's just make one of these pivot lines where I need it. Like that. And now just rotate it. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's what I'm looking for. A little lower. And maybe a little more pointed backwards, perhaps. And then I just need to fix this. Maybe I can even try to even the top out a little bit more with the head too. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, so let's take this piece. This will be the ear. Add mirror. This will be the ear. And we're just going to validate this. I'm not messing around. So we can actually split them. If we want to make them a little different, we can just take split. We'll just use lasso. Then we can split them. So then we have ear A, ear B. Okay, so now they're split. So now if we want to give them a little difference, let's do pivot, center, pivot. At least now we can kind of make them a little bit different if we want. Give him a little more personality. Okay, great. So eyes look pretty good, actually. Might want to try to flatten out this line here. But I think that looks pretty good. Let me use move. What I mean by flatten out the line is, like, you see here, it's a straight line. Here we have a little bit of this coming out, but I think it's fine. Otherwise, we'd have to really match the drawing. It would be something like, you know, it would just be a little extra, but I think it works. I think it works as is. As I continue to work on it. Okay, there we go. I think that works. Some nice space for the eye sockets. Looks good. Might even want to flatten this out a little bit. Whoops. No, it doesn't even need it. Okay, so let's make the eyelashes. Let's save. So we'll use tube. And he looks a little bit, he looks a little angry. I'm sensing a little anger in him, and I think it's because of this right here. Okay, that's a little less. And we can adjust that too, but he was looking a little angry, so. And this ear looks a little funny. I want to move it. I don't mind it being different, but I don't want it to be too different, I don't think. Okay, and they're still a little bit different, but then they're not as different. Okay, so tube, path, we can leave snap on for now. So we'll start here and there, and then we'll just make these little points. Okay. And I think I'm not sure if how I want to do the little wingtips that I always do. I'm not sure if I want to do them or just do kind of more normal. Let's set the radius for all of them. Make this part a little bit bigger. Maybe we'll add another one here. Like so. So that looks good. I'm going to turn snap off. And just kind of move it a little into the head. I think that looks great. I want to make sure these edges are going into the skin. Like so. Okay, let's go ahead and make that seamless. Okay, perfect. So I think I want to make them flat. So let's use profile. And that's actually perfect. I think I'm just going to leave it just like that. The only thing is, this looks a little funny here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and mirror it. Perfect. We could do the bottom. We could do the bottom as well, but I guess we can do it. It's going to be the same thing, so I'm just going to skip over it. Okay, so I did the same thing. Obviously, it's a lot smaller, so I just made it a lot smaller. But I'll go ahead and validate, and that's fine. We'll see if we actually keep it or not. I want to move it down a little further. I don't want it to interfere too much with that eye. It's the only weird part. Okay, but we have them if we need them. bring this out, and we'll just add add another mirror, and we'll validate these as lashes B. We'll validate these A. Let's do a quick save. Hyperspeed. All right, that looks good. Now, if you want to get real funky, you can add clay and just add a little something here. A little extra, but it's making this a little strange. So I'm gonna, I'm not gonna do that yet until we voxel remesh this stuff together. Actually. And do we want to do the mouth open? I don't know. Do we want to do the mouth open? We could do it. We definitely could do it. And here's how. I've talked about it, so I guess we should... I'm going to use X-ray to show you. We'll take trim and lasso. And I'm just going to lasso part of the mouth, and I don't think we need all this either, so I'm going to lasso that. Turn X-ray off. Doesn't look much different, but then if we were to push this down, we essentially have like an open mouth. And then with this, we just have to push this up in the middle there, like so, and then we have an open mouth. So I'm going to do pivot, and I'm going to rotate it this way so I can just move it back. Let's use layer, and on this, the bottom, the lower jaw, let's go to here, multi-res, and let's subdivide it. So that's the first thing, and then let's take layer and make sure we do sub. And with layer, we can just open up a layer here. Oh, that's looking weird. That's looking strange. I'm gonna voxel remesh it, maybe at like 140 or so. What happened to it? Oh, maybe that's from the trim. I'm just gonna smooth this out. That might be from the trim. I might voxel remesh it again at like 150. Smooth it out again. If it doesn't smooth it first, I'm voxel remeshing it again. I'll voxel remesh it as many times as I need. I don't care. Okay, so let's use layer again. I'm gonna up the intensity, which for layer I believe is the depth. We'll use X-ray, and I just want to add some, you want to add a little bit of a space in there for the mouth. Oh, that gets weird back there. Let's smooth it. I think that's fine. So this, excuse me, let's see. Let's use X-ray again. Mask. Make sure that's not on unmask. So we'll do a little of this. Okay, that should be good. And then we'll do invert. And we'll move this part back. Okay, doesn't have to be anything crazy. And now for the snoot, I think maybe just one small layer I think would help. We'll use X-ray again, and maybe we'll just use layer. Maybe I'll do 2. Let's see what happens. Let's smooth it. That green is the inside of the mesh, actually. You can change the color of that. That's the inside of the normal, I believe it is. Okay, let's clear this mask. X-ray. Trim this way, it's better. And we don't need all this neck in here, so let's just trim this part as well. Okay, that's better. And there's a little bit of depth back there. That's all we needed. So now that all these pieces are together, let's connect the eyes. So we've connected the eyes. Let's make sure all these pieces are connected. Tail, neck, ear. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh, those are the front legs. I want to take this little piece, and something is bugging me about it still. Okay, I think that feels a bit better. I think it was just feeling a little too thin. I think that feels better. Oh, and also these little spikes. That's easy. Let's take spheres. Go like that. Make them small, and then let's just validate. This is going to be, we'll just call it spikes, even though they're not spikes. But you get the idea. Make sure symmetry's on. So they're kind of like that, right? And then we can just maybe make them shorter. Now, I don't know, I actually don't know, I'm not sure which shape I want them or how big I want them on the head. But I think I like that. Let's see what happens if we clone it, and then you do another one up here. Maybe another small one here. Maybe this can be small too. I kind of don't want it on the, all right, let me do a line. A line is better. Maybe tiny, maybe really small. Okay, that I don't mind. I don't mind them small like that. So these two, let's clone one and move it down, so we can just continue to use it. But these two will connect to the head. Okay, so now let's figure out how we want the head. What if the head is oh, the lashes. It's always so sad. Okay, oh, we can't move the pivot point. Would have been really nice if we could move that. I don't think we can. Well, maybe we can. I want it to be right in the middle. Maybe we should add the neck to it too. Okay, so maybe that, and then maybe we just take the head and do it a little bit more. Oh, I love that. I don't think he has to be looking all the way around, but I love that. I think that works. Okay, so now we just have to adjust the neck. which is fine. We'll just kind of move it back into place. Turn symmetry off. Since the symmetry is a little different now, it's fine. And then we'll kind of just match the symmetry a little bit. This can go up a little higher. Okay, this little piece can be the neck. So we'll go ahead and move this into place. Let me try to take it off of a line. That will be very helpful. The only problem is I want pivot, I want this to be pointing down. Okay, maybe one up here. Maybe a little higher. So then maybe one, excuse me, maybe another one like here in that kind of, but I think we need to think about voxel remeshing a lot of this stuff together. I don't know if I want to do the legs. I do want to do the legs. The only problem is I want to do these things. I want to do this. Take symmetry off. I love that. I guess that works. Okay, back here, I'll make this a little bit bigger, I think. Oh, the body is still so small. Let's, I should have done this first. Multi-res, we'll subdivide it. I should have done that first. Okay. I like it. Let me take a quick break. I totally forgot about his little teeth, so let's just do that. I should have done it before I turned his head, but that's okay. So we'll use the local nose, maybe to add a sphere. Oh, let me just make sure that we're on the gizmo. So I want to use the local nose and add a sphere, but I want to make sure I have on gizmo. So if I do a sphere here, so at least it's still lined up with the mouth. And I'm hoping that gizmo will work. My guess is it might not. I mean, not gizmo, the mirror. Oh, nice, the mirror did work. Might as well just go ahead and mirror it. And let's flatten it a little bit. I don't know if I want it inside that space that we made. Maybe that makes more sense, like in here. I kind of like that. Let's validate these. And I think I want so right inside, I might want to flatten them a little bit. I might want to actually flatten them a little bit. Let's just solo. Let's see how this looks. I don't know if I want to do the bottom teeth. You know, I feel like they're, oh, they look good there though. But I think that looks better. So you know what? Let's take drag and let's just move this. And we'll just move this up a bit so that it kind of makes sense. Okay, we'll smooth it out. Okay, that looks all right. Let's take these and smooth them out as well. Okay, I'm cool with that. Let's take these teeth. So we'll take these teeth and clone. Let's go to our mirror and flip objects on, usually up and down is Y. So we'll flip the Y, pivot, center, pivot. Oh, I think it flipped them all the way down there, didn't it? Let's go back. Whoops. So we'll go back to the sphere. Let's go to local, and then we'll flip them on Y. And now they should be how they're supposed to be. So let's move them in a little bit. We'll tilt them. Maybe we'll make them a little smaller than the top ones. Just a little hint of teeth is fine. I think that works. I think that works. So I'm going to go ahead and validate these. Perfect. Alrighty, so I like everything. The only thing else we need is, of course, we need to add these things eventually, but that's not really, we can do that last. But toes, we want to add some toes. So I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do this. So let's add a sphere, but not on Gizmo. Let's add a sphere. Let's just make the toes really easy. Okay, so this is going to be toes. Let's do a quick save. Oops. So we want to clone this. And the clone we can mirror and then go to the gizmo and move the mirror. What am I doing? Yeah, that was stupid. Let me just delete it. So let's take this toe and let's validate it. This is going to be super simple. It doesn't need anything crazy. Let's just take trim and let's go to rectangle and we'll just trim this like so. Let's Vox remesh it like 120. Smooth it out. Let's do a little test here. Okay, that's good. We'll clone it. And then maybe we'll clone it again. Okay, perfect. I think that works. I think that's all I really need. All right, so let's take all of these. Let's join them together. And I would decimate, so let's go here, miscellaneous, and decimate. If you're on iOS and you had quad remesher, you can do that. It's the same thing, it just makes the mesh cleaner. But unless you're looking at the wireframe, you won't know, so don't worry too much about it. If I decimate, might as well show you the difference. If I decimate, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna look like that. Whereas if I toes 141, does that make sense? Yes. Okay, so if I do quad remesher, I'm just gonna turn these off. First I'll do it the same, just to clean everything up, and then I'll half it. I'll half it again. And again. That's really all I need. I can probably half it again, honestly. These are super tiny. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to turn the wireframe off. And I'm going to clone. Oh, not clone. Duh. Actually, I could clone. I could clone, and then I could just go to symmetry and do flip object X. And then just move these into position. Posish. Do a little matchy. Okay, I think that looks, maybe it look better like this. Yeah, I think I like that. I think that works. So now we'll just take this and clone it, and we'll move it back. And here's where it gets a little tricky. Looks like we have to, actually we can probably just trim these, and actually I think it'll be fine. So we'll do something like that. I think that works. And then I'm going to go ahead and split these. So I'll use the lasso and just split this one. I'll move this in a bit. Kind of figure out where it needs to go. Oh, maybe that's actually fine. Maybe that's actually better. Let's see if we can look at, I guess I want to see everything. Actually, what's better is to adjust the foot to these, because the foot should be bent. So that's actually better. So I'm going to spread the foot out a little bit. Actually, you can pull this out. I wonder if I can do X-ray. Just kind of push this up, push it over a bit, turn X-ray off, see how it looks. And just adjust so the toes make sense. I think that works. So what I'm going to do is trim this part of the leg. I have to be careful that I don't hit the other leg though. because I think I might trim through it by accident. Let's see. So if I do rectangle and I trim that foot, actually let's do it a little lower. If I trim that like that, if I do solo, good. I don't hit any of the other foot. So that's good. Let's take this and gizmo clone, and we'll move it back. Oops. Move it here. Probably could make them smaller back here. Maybe a little longer. Probably should make them smaller because since the other ones are still the same size. I think that works. I'll move them in a little bit more, I think. I think that works perfectly. Let's take a look at the x-ray. They're pretty much lined up. This is a little bit going beneath, so maybe I'll trim that. Just to make that nice and straight. For the front, we'll go ahead and trim that like so. The nails look pretty good. Okay, perfect. So now I think we can do the fun, but do I want to do like eye dots for him? I usually always do like little eye dots. I can just, I don't think I'm going to do fur. Sorry, I'm brainstorming. Heavy brainstorming. Heavy brainstorming. Why not? Let's take this gizmo. We'll add we'll add a cylinder. Oh, I must have turned off on gizmo. Cylinder. These are the little things that kind of like if you think of like lions or cats, if you've ever drawn a lion or a cat, they have like that little white bit of, and dogs too, they have that little discolor of fur that's like kind of in their right here-ish. Okay, let's stretch it a little bit. Let's mirror it. Let's go ahead and do post subdivision and then do the division X down just to make them a little more round and to cut down on the how big they are. And let's see. Something like that. I don't know if I'm actually going to keep these, but I like them. They're in a lot of my characters. So that's what you do, you know, you have something that you do, that you like to do, you just do it. That's what makes like your own stuff special. Oh, I like it, but I think I like that a little bit better. So let's call this, let's just validate it. Eye dots. Okay, so there is some slight differences here to the neck that I didn't think I noticed. Neck is looking a little crazy. Okay, so if this was the neck, and it was turned this way, I feel like this would be, whatever, I think that's fine. It'll smooth out. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick save, and then I think I want to start Voxel remeshing this thing together. I'm not sure about the legs yet, but I think we can definitely do the body. So we can do the head, the snoot, the lower jaw, the body, the tail, the neck. I don't know if I want to do the legs. And plus, the legs, they look very small, size-wise, or resolution-wise. Lashes, the leg. I think this is the leg, right? Let's just Voxel remesh this for now and see how it looks. So we're going to do 300, which is pretty high, but we want to make sure we can keep a lot of the detail. Oh, that's kind of annoying. But I think I can probably trim that. Well, now's the time, I guess. It might be better to think of an alternative solution. Okay, so let's take crease. Let's make sure that we're on local for the head. And I'm going to try to increase this crease that will help separate them. And also, we need to move this part down. I want to move this part up. And I want to take drag, and I want to drag this back, I think. Okay, so maybe let's see if that works better. Head, snoot, low jaw, ear. I think I forgot the ears before. Body and neck. Oh, God, look at that. Why are you doing that to me? Let's go, I'm gonna go 500. I'm gonna go 550. Still happening. Okay, so, what could be the issue here? These are all pretty high. Let's try if I subdivide some of these things, if that helps. Let's just try these for now. Can't keep selecting everything. I do 600 and something. Ooh, there we go. Okay, that's better. We're getting somewhere now. Did I forget the, I didn't do the ears or anything. That's annoying. Ear, body, neck, head. We'll Voxel remesh the same. We're gonna go really high. Okay, we'll go really high with that. let's see. Hopefully it can smooth out nicely. Looks like it still smooths out pretty nicely. I don't know why I'm even using symmetry, because it's not symmetrical. Okay, that's not bad. It's a bit annoying because okay, so the only thing that I'm thinking is it might have been a smarter idea to Voxel remesh some of this stuff first, because I can't Voxel remesh it down, I don't think. If I bring it down to like 400, it's probably going to do that mouth thing. Oh no, it might have worked. Might have worked. I was able to Voxel remesh it lower. That's what I wanted to do, so I can smooth it better. I did not think it was going to work. And by work, I just mean it. I thought it was going to fill in here like it was doing before. It'd be super annoying. I kind of want to Voxel remesh it a little lower now. So the lower you can Voxel remesh it, the better. It's still high res, but if it's too high res, then you won't be able to smooth it. And you're just sitting around like a you know what. I didn't check the ears though. How do the ears look? The ears look okay. I didn't flatten this one though. That's okay. I should be able to flatten it. There's nothing better than you get to smooth out a nicely fresh model. Let's flatten this out. Another reason I like doing that is because it flattens out those like annoying like pucker marks that you just can't get rid of, that are just like the bane of my existence. Like, I hate when it just makes these like pucker marks. But that's why a lot of times I just flatten it, because I like the way that it looks, and it gets rid of those pucker marks. And I don't know if this is possible, but it would be amazing if you could remesh, but you could select what you wanted to remesh and what you didn't. Like if you could have fingers together, and or like, I don't know, somehow just like a way to remesh something where things can be touching, but like specify. I don't even know if that makes sense. But yeah, that's what I wish. Oh no, the tail, no. The tail, well, it should be okay. Let's save, I like this. Let's save as new. And let's see what it looks like if we do the legs. Let's subdivide the legs. Okay, let's join them. The tail, let's subdivide as well. I'm just subdividing so they're not so it's not so small. And let's Voxel remesh at 300 again. Maybe it'll be fine. Nothing really changed on the top. Everything kind of stayed the same. So that's good. And I'll do a little bit of smoothing here, but not that much, so we can keep as much of that crease as we can. Let me solo this. Get rid of the floor for a second, so the under part can be nice and smooth. I don't love this, but I guess I don't mind it that much. It's annoying, but I get it. This will be a fun print too. I miss printing. Okay, legs still look pretty good. Let's make sure we get this tail nice and smooth. Especially this part where it's supposed to seamlessly smooth down. Yeah, that looks great. So I noticed that the tail, I don't think I did a good job of trimming. Let's take a look at the X-ray. A little bit lower than it should be. Boom, that's better. Ears look good. So now let's go ahead and add the rest of these. So we'll clone. And let's do a little bit of a turn. We'll kind of make these a little different now. Oh, I gotta establish where his back is. Whoops. Okay, that looks like that looks pretty good. This one, let's turn it a little bit. So it just looks like it's the neck. Give it a little bit of something. Let's take this one. Clone. Okay. These get a little tricky because they just have to line up with his backbone. Because back here, they would be straight. They would start straightening out. So I think that's good. Do we want a big one? Oh yeah, I think one big one in the middle. Let's clone this. Good, maybe even widen it a little bit. I think these can be widened. Let's make it bigger. Clone this one. How many does he have? Maybe just a couple more. Okay, clone. These can be a little smaller. looks like they're kind of getting off the center line for some reason. And then maybe one little nugget one down here. Okay, now I just want to make sure that they look like they're kind of lined up straight, which I think they do. Okay, I like it. Great. Let's take all the spikes. I can join them together now. And I'm going to put the wireframe on. Oops. Just for the spikes. And I'm going to, oh, they're pretty, they're not actually that big, but let's half them because we can for efficiency. I don't think the shape changed at all. No, it didn't. Okay, so I'll make them smaller. This, I don't think I'll be able to fix the topology on it too much, but we'll go ahead and save it. Oh, what did I do? We can try. Let's try same first. And then let's try half. I mean, it's decent, but I mean, it actually is pretty decent, to be honest with you. It just gives it a much better wireframe. The only problem is there are some details that I still have yet to do. It's 210, so I probably could still do those details. Let's see, I wanted to do crease here. Let's put symmetry on. Ooh, see, that looks looking crazy. That's looking crazy. I guess I don't really need some crazy details, to be honest. I could try dynamic topology, see how that looks. To really get those details that I want. That's probably better. We're going to keep the nice topology. Everything else looks good. Okay, we'll take, speaking of crease, we'll keep it here, we'll keep it locked in. I think this is on local as well. And we can man, I probably can't even smooth this, can I? It's the only problem. You got to be careful when you do dynamic topology. Sometimes you can't smooth. It doesn't look as smooth. Yeah, we're gonna turn that off. It's fine for the nose because I really need those details, but I don't like that you can't really smooth it the way you want. I'm not even sure if it's worth it. Let's go back. think we'll just keep it heavy. If I keep it heavy with a crappy wireframe, I can probably do what I want to do. Oh, it's still not even really working that well. But smooth is better. Let's see if I can do a nice layer with sub. That actually looks decent. Let's flatten. Flatten it a little bit. That's perfect. I love it. All right, let's see what we can do with this mouth. First, I want to try to drag this part back here. Okay, I want to smooth, but I got to be careful that I don't draw that back out too much. Now let's try this crease. Might need to like kind of doctor it up a little bit. Add some clay here. Oh, looks a little strange. The way that this mouth kind of comes together looks a little strange. Okay, let me think. Okay, I think I came up with another plan. Let's take select mask with lasso. Symmetry's on. And let's do this. Oh, why is it so... Probably shouldn't have tried to lower the topology when I did. I think that might be my flaw. And it's going through the mesh. I hate when it does that. Let's do unmask and just get rid of all that nonsense back there. Okay, so the reason why this might work, could possibly work, I want to take move and I want to drag this bit down. So that'll give it a more of a natural separation. All right, let's see. Let's clear the mask and then let's smooth. It's so soft. Looks like there's a mask there. I'm going to turn the intensity down on the smooth. Oh, I think that still works. I think that still works. I'll use crease, do a crease here. I think that works. Ooh, you know what? And let's do, it might need to come down. Maybe that's why it looks a bit weird to me. Let's try drag, and let's try dragging it deeper into the cheek, which is actually more of a natural way that that dimple would form. I like it. I think that's good. Topology is a little weird there, but definitely passable. I'm not sure how I should have done that different. I mean, luckily it works, but, you know, you always want everything to be as good as you can make it, you know? This little bit is like bugging me. Okay, I think I like it. God. Oh well. I can drag this whole thing up. Yes. Okay. The only other thing that might be interesting is to do a little inflate near these things. Alright, let's save. Toes, toes, toes. We'll just join those together. Toes split. Join the toes together. Teeth definitely don't need to be that high. So we'll just have those. The body's the only thing that needs to be high. Eye whites, I'm just going to go ahead and validate. And then I'm going to validate those as well. Okay, so let's change from lit PBR or matte cap to lit PBR. I love the way that this looks. Add view, we'll call this 1. Get rid of the background image. What is that? We'll make it a neutral color. And well, we should make everything that color, actually. Turn the environment off. Turn this up, turn post-process on. I'll use mine, which is just tailored a little bit to what I like. I like global illumination. I'm going to turn the bloom off. And we'll add our first light. I love it. I got to do this, and then I got to update this. I always make the first light 2. So this is the key light. And the second light gets this edge. So we're going to clone it. We'll use a line so we can easily move this over. Get that nice edge on the one side. Just like that. That looks good. Maybe we'll make this purple to match the background. You know what? We can probably make this a little bit brighter, I feel like. Okay, so we'll take, this one is edge. We'll clone this. We'll make the light back to white. We'll move it over, and this will be kind of coming from this side. A little bit brighter coming from that side. Maybe we can give this a little bit of a warm hue. We'll go ahead and save. And then we can, so this is R2. We'll add another one. We'll call this one D2. And let's make it into a point light. Or not a point light. Actually, yeah, I never really use a point light. So let's try it. Let's see what happens if we put the point light up here. Let's see what details we got here. Shadow, yes. I mean, everything looks decent. The only thing I was going to do... Oh, you know what else I want to do? I want to take the lights and I want to switch them so that they stay where the camera is. So, camera. I always think that fixed means fixed on the model and they spin. Whereas I feel like fixed should be, they're fixed in place and they don't move. Okay, so that was that one. This one, we'll just do camera. This one, we'll do camera. This, can we do camera? No. Spotlight, you can't do camera either. I was gonna do spotlight. Let's see what that looks like. And I was gonna aim it right around here. Just to kind of light up his face a little bit more. So that's what I was thinking. That looks good too. And then you would turn on the environment and obviously tone it down a bit so we still have those nice shadows. And there he is, pretty much. And now you can color them. You can just go to any of these things and then you can color them any color that you want. I kind of like that color. Let's add a layer. Let's make him this color. Let's take these and make them those color. Let's take his little toes. We'll make them like a little off-white. His little teefies, we'll make them white and glossy. Same thing with his eye whites. These can be black and not glossy at all. And the little ones can be, black might be too bold for them. I'm thinking you might want to grab this color and make it darker. So they're just like a little bit darker, you know, a little touch. These, we'll grab this color and then make them lighter. And these can be black and glossy. And then you can do some other colors if you want. Maybe color down here and like in between the legs. That's the only thing that I was thinking. And maybe in the mouth. Let's turn post-process off. Let's add another layer to the body. This is going to be gray. This is going to be under. So we'll grab this color and we'll just make it lighter, maybe right around there. I don't think symmetry is going to work here. But it'll work eventually on the body. Okay, so now I'm very curious about the symmetry here. Oh no, the symmetry's off. Okay, no dice. Okay, it doesn't have to be too crazy. I don't think anyone's probably ever going to see underneath. Let's turn this back up so we can just see what we're doing. Getting close. So we're getting real close. Let's figure out the design here. figure out how we want it to go, and then I can use which one do we like better? I think I like it maybe just going straight up to that piece. I think I like that better. Oh, now it starts getting crazy. Just let me paint. Okay, and then if we want to really get technical, we can bring in a dynamic topology and clean this up a little bit. Oh, maybe we need to get a little closer. Oh, is it not on? How do I turn it on and then I don't turn it on? Like a butt monkey. Okay, right up there. Let's do a little erase. Little clean erase job. Yeah, we'll leave that. And the only thing else I want to do is the under, we'll add a layer in mouth. Don't need dynamic topology. We can just do like a dark reddish that's really rough. This is going to be tricky, but I think it's worth it. And maybe we can use symmetry. Maybe we can turn symmetry on for this. Okay, and we can smooth this too. Let's use smoothie. So this is this is smooth tool with 0 intensity. You can save it to something else, but that's all this is. Smooth tool with 0 intensity. So it doesn't affect the mesh, it just affects the color. Okay, that's great. What do I feel like? Well, I feel like it's so, it got like lighter. I guess it didn't. Can I make it darker? Just want it to be dark in there. I guess that's the best we can do. Let's unsolo it. Looks great. Oh, and I am going to do the last thing that I want to do. Path. This might actually help a lot. Ooh. Let's go ahead and make it black. And let's make it round. So we'll go like this. We'll bring this all the way down to 4. We'll do radius. We'll do all the radii so we can make this nice and round. Make this smaller here. So this will give like a little bit of separation, that mouth crease that we want. Okay, I'm locking you so I don't accidentally touch anything else. Oh my god, it's almost 3 a.m. already? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. And really this should actually go like either high or low, if I'm being honest with you, but I don't know if I want to bring it there. What I mean by that is it should actually be like, it's kind of like how cats have like lips kind of thing. I'm gonna solo. No, I can't. I guess I can't solo it. Let me hide the floor. The lips would actually be like this. But I don't know if it's worth it to do that for this character. And then you can mirror it. Let's make them come together right now. Oh, I think I like it. And I think I like it. I think I want this to be a little thicker. Okay, let's validate. That's great because it kind of just acts like a darker thingy, you know? Inside mouth. Let's make another one and do pinkish. Or let's do reddish. We'll do reddish and then we'll do... Oh, look at that. It's not great. I can't use symmetry for this because the ears are different places. Let's just smooth out the color here. I like it. Let's use a darker color. Let's get a darker color. Darken it up a little bit in there. And let's darken it up. This wasn't even reddish. I did this on the wrong. Let's rename this darker. Darker 1. We'll add a layer. This will be darker 2. And this, we're going to grab this color and make it a little darker. And then we'll kind of paint inside these eye sockets where it makes sense that it would be a little darker. But we can use symmetry. Okay, so now we'll use smoothie. We'll just smooth this out. Beautiful. And if we want, we can do the same thing with a lot of these other little elements here, like maybe in between the legs. You can kind of just make them a little darker. Little manual ambient occlusion is what I like to call it. Probably doesn't even really need it though. Yeah, let me just chill. The eyes, we'll add a layer. We'll grab the white. I don't know why I always do that, but I do. Let's paint. Ooh, what's happening here? Eye whites. Let's turn symmetry off, I guess. Ooh, maybe if we put on local, maybe symmetry will work. No. Never mind. Oh, symmetry, stop. Some nice ambient occlusion. You can even lessen it if you want. Merge that down. Beautiful. What is this? Oh, these are the lips, aren't they? Validate. Call it lippies. What is this? This lash. Which one is this? It's the bottom one too. It's so small. What's the top one? The top one's kind of big too, but we'll leave it. That's fine. I think everything else is fine. I think I saw some ripples on the back. Make sure I smooth those out, because those will be later when I'm in Blender and I see them. Okay, camera thing, you can go away. I hate it. Okay, we'll save. And then we will do a nice turntable. Alright, well, hope you enjoyed that. I think I'll probably make a video where I bring him into Blender. Alright, so here's our Dino Bud. I'm going to do I like to do this window with 2 screens so I can see what the camera sees, and then I can do all my edits and things like that. But this is the focus ring, so the camera is focusing actually on this ring. So I'm going to bring it to the eye. I think that's pretty good. And I'll usually do whichever eye is closer to the lens. I want to make sure the camera has depth of field on. And the f-stop, since we're in perspective, we have to bring this down really low in order to get a shallow depth of field, which means the focus ring area will be in focus. And then as it starts getting further back, it will be out of focus. But as you can see, I have to go really big in order to get a nice blur in the background. So I think we'll do like 0.5. I think I like that. And let's just check the base color. Sometimes it's nice if it's a little bit more gray. We'll bring it down to here. And then I'll just take so the base color is now here. So I just need to take the hex. I'll just copy that and then I'll go to the background. And I'll change this to be the same color. That way they'll match up again. So I'm going to give him an ambient occlusion. So that's Shift A, ambient occlusion, Shift A, color ramp. I don't really know a lot about these nodes, but I do know ambient occlusion because I'm obsessed with it. So that's the one that I learned and I know decently well. Shift A, mix shader, and then diffuse. Yeah, so this is like what I know. So I'll hit Control C so I can do that with anything else. I might need to add ambient occlusion, which is just like extra shadows based on the ambient lighting in the room. If I go more, you can see it kind of starts to shade in those dark areas that are dark. Looks nice. Now we can actually color it to sort of match his skin with the diffuse. So we'll take the diffuse and put it in shader. And then I can take this and I'll just take the eyedropper and I'll grab this color. And then maybe I'll just make it a little bit brighter, but make this a little darker, perhaps. Okay, also he's obviously very shiny, so I don't think we need him that shiny. I'm going to go through and add ambient occlusion to the teeth, the eyes, and his nails, and these little, his little spikes. All right, so I added a bump texture, just because I don't usually have a lot of texture in my characters. So I added a bump texture. And if you want to see, so this is the setup. I mean, I'm sure there's better setups, but this is the setup that I used. So essentially, it's really just these 5. You can see now that he's smooth. So it's just these 5, and then you just take the normal and put it to normal. The normal is just like the surface. Texture looks a bit weird. I need to learn how to do like a better texture, but that's for another day. And then to make a turntable, essentially I'm just going to bring up the timeline. So then I have 1 through 180. Oh, and I already have it programmed, I guess. Oh, that light is way too bright. So essentially it's just keyframes. So I have 1 keyframe here and I have 1 keyframe here. So I need to change the start. So let's go to the box. Okay, so now I'm just going to make 2 keyframes. I'm going to rotate this to the starting position. So let me hit 0. Let's go to animation. That'll be easier. We'll make the start frame, which I think should be around there. This, and I wonder if I can reset the rotation. So if I hit Control A, let's select this, and I want to apply Control A. I want to apply the rotation. So what I mean by that is I want to set the rotation so this is 0. So that's the base. So now I'm going to hit I. So all of these are yellow. So we have a keyframe here, and we'll go to the last frame. We'll go to the last frame, and then I think I hear a raccoon in the backyard. I put out some food for it. So the last frame, we'll just put 360. Let's drag this 360 over to 181. This way, when it rotates, when it gets to 159, it's going to start over at 1 because that's the same as 360. So if I do it this way, it'll do a seamless rotation. I'll just hit spacebar so we can see the animation, and it's kind of boring. Let's go here. Let's go to the graph editor. So the graph editor is like in any like editing app, you have the graphs, so you can make something like sort of ease in or ease out. It's kind of the same thing. It's just, it's really confusing and weird. Let's go back to the first keyframe. And let's clear single keyframes. Clear single keyframes. Okay. I hate when it shows all this stuff. I just want to see the one keyframe that I left, but instead I'm stuck seeing all this nonsense. This is better though. So I want to make it ease in. And I think with this one I have to ease it like this. Anyway, I think I might like it, but I need to think about it. So if you go to the camera here, you can go all the way to the bottom. So I'm in the camera settings where it says cycles and all that. You can go to the bottom and there's view transform and there's standard, and you can use some of these. This one is always nice because it just makes it a little more rich, but there's some other settings that you can do here. I'm going to go back to standard and I'm going to, let's see. Oh, I'm going to go to look. So I'm going to go, let's see, medium low contrast. Medium contrast. And let's go back to none. So this is none. Let's do medium high. It looks a little bit better. And then there's high contrast, which also looks pretty good, but I think medium high looks a little bit more natural to me. So I think I'll go with that one, which is nice. I don't think I want to add any texture to the floor. I think I like it how it is. But do I want to change the color of the floor? So that's the only thing that I've been thinking. Let's do an export of this and just make sure that our lighting and everything is good. Oh, I also wanted to tell you that I did adjust some of the lights. So let me just turn these on so I know which ones. Okay, so this is how it was naturally. I added one edge light. So that's a light that's going to pop up right here. So we have this light, which is just going to give a nice, some nice light over here on his left side, or his right side actually, in real life. And then I added another light to get some pop in his eyes. I recognize for some people that's going to sound like I'm saying splash soda in his eyes, but that's actually not the case. I don't want any soda in this guy's eyes. I'm just going to delete these. It's making animations because I have this button. So when you have this button, any movement or any change is going to automatically make a keyframe. But I don't really need that right now. But I think this looks great. It'd be nice to have something with some light in it. But I guess that can wait. I might always come in later and change. Let's see, if I go to the shader editor, this is something that I like to do. I'll take the emission, maybe make it a yellow, similar color, and then add some emission to his little spikes, just for fun. And then later on, I might bring this all the way down so it's a little darker. I can bring those other lights down too, just so he's a little bit brighter. Oh, that's great. So I think I'm going to do a light version and a dark version because that's amazing. I love it. So let me just Control Z so I can get back to where I was. Okay, and I'll save. And now I'm going to export each of these frames. So I'm just going to make sure all my settings are okay. I'm in this little printer. This is the resolution. And I'll just make sure that it has a place to go. So I think I'll use downloads. I don't know where downloads is though. Oh, here it is. So I'll make downloads, the folder, add new, and this is going to be DinoBud. DinoBud Light TT for Turntable. So I'll just accept that. And then I'll just make sure everything else is as I want it. I have all these eyeballs on things that I want to export. 300 is fine. Quality high. I don't think I need motion blur for a turntable. I'm not actually sure yet though. Oh, let me check the camera. Camera's good. Focus ring. Nice. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick save and then I'm going to export the animation. But I think that's it. I'll show you both turntables. I'll show you any other shots that I do with this little guy. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully this was useful or fun. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. As I get more used to using Blender and using things, I'll have some more proper tutorials. Still wrapping my mind around everything. But I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate your support. It's been a while. I was working on a big project with Skillshare. I'm looking forward to that coming out soon. You'll hear all about it. Hopefully you'll see all about it as well. All right, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh.